Siemaneczko, witam was w kolejnym odcinku Elysian Fields. Tym razem to ciekawe.
House fire, bad one. At least 4 Vicks. Get out there and find out what you can. The address is 650 North Hobart.
Jedziemy. Herschel.
I don't care. I don't go in for letting gangsters off scot-free. Guy gave his wife a tap. Say all fair in love and war.
You hear about Rancho Escondido?
Are we having a conversation, Biggs?
Okay, fuck it. You forget
I'm teasing you, Hirsch. Tell me about it.
the new housing developments a couple of weeks ago. Damn!
Niedobrze.
The new housing developments a couple of weeks from completion. Burned to the ground last night. GIs are ready to move in this weekend. Developer's gonna have some very angry customers.
Any available unit, meet the
Shit
officer
about
at
Chuck.
11 just occurred.
The arson desk is
And
trying to nail that
253
son
Main
of a
Street
bitch for
units
years.
to handle code
You're
2
still in
identified.
custody, Hirsch.
Wanna bet? Fella kicked him loose already. Can't hold him for misdemeanor cigarettes and matches.
I would feel safe in a tank with you driving.
Już prawie jesteśmy w tym Elysian Fields.
Brother!
Sorki.
Oh, for God's sakes.
I know what I'm doing.
No,
You guys better see this. I hope you have strong stomachs. Do you have a name? Morelli, Mike. We recovered a picture of the family.
Okay. Anything else?
To be honest, I just got here first. Best you talk to Lynch. He's the expert.
Doesn't make any sense. Why aren't they scattered around like the rest of the debris?
I think they've been moved. Ooh. I think someone moved them after the explosion and before the fire.
Can you explain that, please?
I'm almost positive the cause of death is asphyxiation due to gas inhalation. Look at the parts of their bodies that aren't scorched. The coloring around the fingertips is typical.
They wouldn't have felt a thing.
I think the fire damage is post-mortem. I think someone moved them into this room after the explosion.
It still doesn't make any sense. Why would you run into a burning building?
What are they doing?
The prayer effect is from the fire. Muscles and tendons contract.
No, zdjęcia rodziny.
You ever think about how many people have died in this world? And how big heaven would have to be to accommodate them bigs?
No, I have not. Show some respect.
It's our boy. I think he watches the fires. I think the Sawyer fire went wrong.
So what about the guy we have in jail, Phelps?
We got the wrong guy.
That doesn't explain why he ran into a burning building. What would make anyone do that?
Guilt.
For the fires?
For his mistake. This guy wants to burn houses, not families. He expects the houses to be empty. He was trying to redeem himself. Probably thought they'd be happier together.
You are one very disturbed individual, Phelps. I know you had it rough lately, but you should start to compartmentalize your thoughts.
He could be right. Can you come up with an alternative
I'm
explanation?
sure it's the same guy.
Are you telling me that some son of a bitch murdered these people, the whole family, and arranged them here like Cupid dolls?
Might fit, Cole, but I don't think we could ever prove it. There's very little evidence.
Evidence?
Albert, check out the hot water system. Make sure we're dealing with the same MO.
Sure, Phelps. I'll get back to you.
Leave the rest to us, Cole. You better find out what's eating Diggs.
Co mu się stało? Temu Bigsowi całemu
So
naszemu.
something finally got to you.
You want my help, pretty boy? You got it. You keep riding me and you won't be pretty much longer.
We can get this guy, Herschel.
You think you've seen everything, Phelps? I was with the 2nd Marines at Bella Wood. The things that went on in that farmhouse. My own guys on fire, screaming for a way out. You're not gonna get this guy. There's gonna be no photos and no citations. We're gonna kill this miserable fuck. End of story. You getting this?
You remember the list from the travel agent?
Sure.
The Morellis were winners too. Their name was on that list.
Christ. We should take a look around, work the neighbors, see what they know. I'll go across the street.
Okay, I'll try this side.
I haven't done this for years.
I don't think
You don't look like a fireman, son.
against thousands of others.
LAPD, can you tell me anything about the fire next door?
Terrible luck. Imagine after having won that weekend away.
What's your name, sir?
Foreman. Dudley Foreman.
Did you see or hear anything that might have...
Look, we were asleep when we heard the explosion.
You didn't like Morelli, did you?
Some neighbors you get along with, some you don't. Guess they should have sold up.
What do you mean?
They're knocking down all these old houses and building a new subdivision for GIs. Morelli was being difficult.
You said someone is knocking these houses down?
Elysian Fields. You must know them. Their billboards, that Monroe character beaming down at you. We've had an offer for the house.
Did the Morellis want to sell?
I don't know.
Whatever you thought of Morelli, his whole family is dead. They couldn't have all deserved that. I want you to help me here, Foreman.
Morelli was pig-headed. He built the house himself. He didn't want to sell. Stubborn fool was ruining it for all of us.
You said the Morellis had won a weekend away to Catalina Island?
Yeah, that's right. First thing I thought after the explosion was, thank goodness they was away. Then I find out they was still in there.
Who was running the competition?
What? I don't know.
You didn't
No.
enter yourself?
I'd already agreed to sell. The competition was an incentive for those who were still thinking about it.
Dziękuję.
All a man can do is put in a prayer for the dead. About all I gotta say.
I swear.
This is a crime
this town is
scene.
going straight
All of you
to
move
hell.
along.
Co, Herschel?
What
Need
now?
more from the neighbors, Cole. Keep working them.
He wants a five-star goddamn wedding.
I was married by a judge. Should have asked for a jury.
Jeszcze mogą być tu sąsiedzi. W sumie. Jeszcze tu może być sąsiad.
See him? Saw his picture in the paper. What's that case for the lady cut up like a guy?
Zapytałem go, to co, trzeba jechać stąd.
I want to see. Excuse me, officer. I want to see.
Pogląd numerowik, czyli coś jeszcze mam tu znaleźć. No, musimy zobaczyć boiler, no właśnie.
Looks like the same model.
Znowu Reginald.
This is the flashpoint. The heater detonated with enough force to expose the foundations.
No, czemu go
All a
pokoju?
man can do is put in a prayer for the dead. That's all I've got to say about it.
I swear, this town is
Są
going
papierosy.
straight to hell.
Someone was keeping watch. Looks like they were here for quite a while. Brand looks distinctive.
No.
Did you see anyone hanging around the Morelli's home prior to the explosion?
Nope. Can't say as I was looking out, though.
I think you're covering for someone, Foreman. Who is it?
And I think you are off your rocker. How can you make an accusation like that? What proof have you got? I can see you're the excitable type.
Elegancko.
You shouldn't let your imagination run away with itself.
Thanks for your time, Mr. Foreman.
Sure. Hey, if you're interested, I have one of those competition flyers in the kitchen. I could get it for you if you like.
That would be great.
Any luck, Cole?
A couple of things. What did you pick up?
Folded piece of paper. Looks complicated.
Japanese call it origami. Can I take a look?
Sure.
Paper crane. There's a legend about them. You fold 1,000 of these and you get a wish.
Hey, don't break it.
I'm not. I'm unfolding it. It looks like a waybill or a flyer.
For what?
For Elysian Fields developments.
Oh, I see you already have one.
When did the flyer arrive in your mailbox?
They've been arriving for weeks. This one was in the mailbox when I got home from work yesterday afternoon.
Okej.
I'm stumped. Ideas?
You find a game well and get an address for Elysian. The problem is, partner, those Elysian guys are connected.
I don't think you're a fool. But what's my opinion against thousands of others?
I need an address for a property developer. Elysian Fields Developments.
One moment, Detective.
No.
The address is 748 North Oxford Avenue, Wilshire. Anything else?
Dziękuję.
Messages, please.
You have a message. Contact Captain McKelty immediately.
Thanks. Can you put me through, operator?
Of course. Here you are.
Commander?
Leads on the Morelli farm.
We're about to go and visit Elysian Fields Developments.
You're about to do what? Leland Monroe? He's a personal friend of the mayor and the chief. Are you out of your mind? I'm warning you, Phelps.
Commander, we have a line of inquiry.
You have something, you bring it to me. You're hanging by a thread, Phelps. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Good. Have a report on my desk today.
Kelty has warned us off over Elysian.
Makes sense. It's a dead end. We should check out Rancho Escondido.
You know the place?
Sure. Corner of Fountain and Wilton. Let's go.
Can you drive to this one?
We are not going to...
Yes, we are.
You just won't let this go, will you, Cole?
You know they're involved somehow. You expect me to turn my back on it?
You're a big boy. I expect you to know which battles are worth throwing my pension away for.
Znowu o tej emeryturze.
Detectives Phelps and Biggs, LAPD, to see Leland Monroe.
Do you have an appointment?
We're the police, lady. We don't need an appointment.
Can I tell him what it's about?
It's an official investigation.
There are 2 police officers here to see Mr. Monroe.
Send them through.
And that's our cue. Thanks, man.
May I help you, gentlemen?
We would like to speak to Mr. Monroe.
I'm afraid it's impossible. Mr. Monroe's schedule is booked weeks in advance.
Cut to the chase, sister. Is he in?
I'm not at liberty to reveal that, officer.
So he hired you for your intelligence?
I find that offensive.
You have every right to.
This is getting us nowhere, miss.
Casino.
Would you like us to return with a warrant?
That won't be necessary, gentlemen. Come into my office. You like a cigar? Drink, boys.
Sure, I'll have a scotch.
Biggs, we're investigating a series of domestic fires, Mr. Monroe.
It's terrible, boys. How can I help?
Elysian Fields and Suburban Redevelopment Fund flyers keep turning up in the vicinity of the fires.
They're turning up all over town, boys. Can you imagine the current demand for housing?
So that's your explanation, Mr. Monroe? Coincidence?
Explanation? Why, what's to explain? I advertise on radio and billboards for buyers, and I advertise for sellers using waybills.
Cały czas uśmiecha?
We found a family burnt out in their home. Another house burned to the ground. Another Elysian Fields flyer. Our information is that they didn't want to sell.
Are you saying that's something to do with me? Is that your point?
Point is, every time we find a family barbecued, we find one of your flyers. Is that good advertising?
What do you know about a competition for families to win free vacations to Catalina Island?
My company runs many promotions. I'm not familiar with that one.
Two families are dead, Mr. Monroe. This isn't a question of criminal liability. We're looking at conspiracy to commit murder.
Do you know who you're talking to, son? You want to use incendiary language like that with me? I suggest you should leave immediately.
We've made offers to buy houses in areas where fires have been recorded.
Are you suggesting that I'm burning people out of their homes so that I can sell them new ones?
What happens to your plans if a family like the Morellis refuses to sell?
We work around them. Business finds a way. That's the American way.
I think you're being less than candid, Mr. Monroe. You're building these homes to some timetable. You're under pressure to get rid of the holdouts.
And how exactly do you think you can prove that in a court of law, detective?
Jeszcze raz.
Nothing personal. I'm just doing my job. You understand that? Come on, Mr. Monroe. You expect me to believe that you would build a new development with one of those old piles smack bang in the center of it?
Progress is an inexorable process, detective. Those who choose to stand in defiance are usually confined to the wastebasket of history. To answer your question, yes, we would build around them if we had to. Most people see sense. The arsonists. Do you have any suspects?
We aren't at liberty to say.
I didn't think so. The contractors I use for way bills. You suppose it could be any of them? I have a list of their names if it would be of any help.
That would be very helpful, Mr. Monroe.
Glad to hear it. I'm always happy to help the LAPD. My secretary will provide you with that list. Did you know that I'm on the board of the police pension fund?
Glad to be of help, officers.
What's the story?
Chapman.
Any of these names ring a bell?
Herbert Chapman is on this list.
Find the phone. We need to know where we're at with Chapman.
That's him. That's
The boss
the
is
cop.
a fine man.
Tried to poke me in the nose.
Oh, Susie, you are
Operator,
so
give me
bad.
dispatch.
Putting you through now.
Go ahead, fight. The mess that was. Anyway, that's the couple.
Phelps, badge 1247.
How could I help, Detective?
Can you check whether we are still holding a Herbert Chapman?
Let me find out for you. He was released this morning, Detective. I'm sorry, Detective.
Not your fault. Can you give me a last known address and put out an APB on the guy?
I'll get back to you, Detective. APB will go out over KGPL shortly.
Thanks, ma'am.
No ja.
Someone ought to take him home. He's loaded.
Dobra. Ja wam dziękuję za oglądanie. Do następnym razem żegnam się z wami. Hej. Widzimy się na Rancho Escondido. No wiecie, to Rancho. Hej.